years.
Yeah.
But they were always seemed to be really good at forgetting about what happened the year before in terms of we won and realizing that this is new.
Mm-hmm.
Is that something you had to talk to these guys about at all? I mean,
Yeah. It's exactly what we talked about the first day. Yeah, I mean that's why you hear Fee's comments about your starting place isn't where you're left off.
Right.
Each iteration of the Lynx, it's different. Same for every team. It's things change. Life hits people. There's a lot of reasons why you're not exactly the same. And so you got to figure out what this doesn't. It's not bad. It's just you got to figure out what this iteration of the team is. What we're about, etc. So each journey is different. That's why we say it.
And everybody knows obviously what the goal is,
Yeah.
what the possibilities are,
Mm-hmm.
but just the process. Is this a team that I think will embrace that?
The process?
Yeah.
I don't know. We're going to find out. I mean, we're a couple weeks into it. I think they understand it. I still think we're not quite there yet, identity-wise. Just not having all of our the five. Kind of getting to work together, which is what the previous teams mostly had. Occasionally, like 2014, we didn't have, Brunson had a knee injury. So you deal with stuff every year. But no, I don't think we're anywhere close right now.
Did you think you'd be further ahead at this point, or was this about expected?
No, I mean, there's the unexpected things. I mean, you learn things right before the season starts that wasn't part of the plan. That's all part of it, though. That's all the ebbs and flows of managing people and, all that good stuff. So I think in terms of, I feel like we're further along. I think I said this the other night. We're further along offensively, right? Because we know our identity. We haven't changed a whole lot. With some of the newer players that we have, so defensively, we're still kind of trying to find our way.
With the final preseason game behind you now, followed by an off day,
Yeah.
did today kind of feel like tone shift? It feels like the regular season now, and we've added a game that counts on.
Oh, the way they showed up today, yeah, it felt like they were, not interested in really being here and working on anything. So, we don't have a game till Friday, so why are we here? That's kind of what today was. I was still in training camp. They weren't. They were onto something else.
Did that get better throughout the practice?
Absolutely not. No, that's why we're here so early with you guys.
Not
so great.
Watching the preseason games back, I mean, Kosu kind of stood out as she just got here in the city. And it seems like she's already getting kind of the hang of where she's supposed to be, rotations. What has your assessment been on her? And are you surprised by how fast she's been able to kind of jump in?
I mean, for a young player, yeah. I think in terms of, I don't think she knows where she's supposed to be in terms of what we're running, but I think she's instinctual.
Sure.
Right? And so that's the part I like.
Mm-hmm.
I'd much rather have that. And then we could sort of fill in hey, we want you to do this, not this. But no, I think, jumps off the page. I think the first day of just knowing where she should be instinctually, making the easy plays. I think she does that well.
I mean, she also seems to be a really physical player. I mean, that
she is.
offensive foul she just about trucked someone
Yeah,
over.
she did.
Is that something that kind of stood out in her Russian film? Or is that
her
something
strength.
That's been a surprise?
Well, her strength and athleticism are what stand out for sure. Sometimes when you watch video, it's not, it doesn't do it justice, if you will. But so when you see it on video, then it's real. And so the first day, her first shoot around, she was. She did a couple of things where the whole team, there were audible gasps, of Jesus, So, so she's gifted.
I mean, they ran into her the other night, and it was she wasn't even aware.
Yeah, she's strong. She's strong.
She just turned around did something just
She's
happened?
strong.
The other person's on the floor.
Yeah, she's strong. Yeah.
Was Lion able to go today?
No, we're holding her out. So that's a quad. Soft tissue stuff. It just happens. So it's not a 2 or 3 day thing. So.
Is there a chance that she won't be available?
There's
Friday?
always a chance, yeah, because it's, how about Steph? Is he available for Game 5? Do we know that yet? No. So we got to get there.
Was there any temptation to keep them on the court longer instead of doing media early and cutting practice early?
Well, I tried that.
Was there temptation to keep them longer?
About halfway through, I was done. Thought it was a good idea to let them out of here because they weren't here today. So we continued. So I did stay longer than what I thought that they were really prepared to do. So. Unfortunately.
On yesterday's news that Dorka will miss the season, and just kind of what was your reaction when that became the reality?
Yeah, I mean, it's like I said, find out, just before the season.
Right.
It's obviously an unfortunate situation, but players make choices, and we just deal with the hand.
Is there any update on K-Mac? I apologize. I know you're probably sick of talking about it.
Well, we said on whatever day we played, that I don't have an update, and when I do, I'll definitely, just keep saying we're in touch with Mac, and so everything's fine. We're just working through personal matter.
She's an amazing shooter, so she also had an amazing training camp. I think she was shooting like 6% from 3. It was incredible. So having someone like that can space the floor, that allows like the bigs to be able to drive and be in the paint, it really helps our offense a lot.
How much do you feel like just her personality, her presence has led to her at this point being started the last 2 years, how she's worked her way here and now seeing great time with you guys in the starting group?
I think a lot. I mean, Carly's a great teammate and a really hard worker. 2 things that will keep you in the league. She's here after practice shooting. She's here every day before practice shooting. Like, she puts in the work, and I'm really happy for her that she's been in and out of the league for a long time, and now she's here with us. She's definitely earned that.
With the final preseason game behind you now, does it feel like it's kind of a tone shift from training camp preseason to regular season and prepping for Dallas on Friday?
Yeah, it does. We've been here. This is a longer training camp than last year, and now we have our numbers down. We're seeing like what the final roster is starting to look like. So it's nice to be able to hone in on that and kind of refine our group and what it's going to look like more.
Cheryl said post-game that she feels that the offense is a lot further along than the defense so far, which is kind of the opposite of last year. Would you agree with that, and why do you think that might be?
Yeah, I would agree. I think the offense is farther along because, again, we have that familiarity where you kind of have a building, like a base, which we didn't have last year, so we had to rely so heavily on our defense. But I think what I was saying before is that you can't forget what got you to that point last year, so defense is definitely something that we want to work on more so that it's as strong as it was or stronger than last year.
What's different, though, than defense? There's a familiarity, too, though, right? So
I don't know. I think probably just an attention to detail. Like, we need to be really locked in on it. And I think we're having like some slippage in that area, so it's something that we need to fix because season comes on Friday.
The way you guys finished off that second game, 10-3, the last 3.5 minutes. Coach was saying that she was really glad that you guys kind of had to do that in the first place, and that you guys did it. Did you feel like you kind of came together, coalesced a little bit as a team, and in terms of finishing off the preseason like that? Yeah,
I think that is something that was like a really big staple for us last year was resilience and just the way that we were able to fight the whole year. It doesn't matter if we were up or down. We stayed really strong as a team, so I'm glad that we're keeping that for this year because it's what made us really special last year.
Thanks, Pete.
Thank you.
Thank you, Pete.